To what length would you go to save your job and that of your friends, even if it means traveling to an unknown location? Maddie is in a fix and she needs to find the Lover's Stone or all will be lost. In the opening scene of Charm of Love 2020, Madden, an art historian, walks into a museum. Trish and the other employees there have been expecting her as a matter of urgency. They need clarification on whether some of their art pieces are fake or not. Maddie checks the first piece and tells them the sad news, and this is that what they have is a fake art imitation. She proceeds to check another art piece, a miniature sphinx, and yet again it is a fake. Just then Catherine, part of the management team and an art collector, walks up to her. They are surprised at her detecting skills and ask how she can tell. She informs them that the signature is in Arabic and the typical ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs gave the fake art piece away. Maddie is introduced to the art collector named Brent Weber who brought those art pieces, and she tells him the pieces he brought are just for aesthetics. Catherine wants to defend her blunt way of telling the art collector that the pieces are fake because he is a big donor to the museum, but Maddie cuts in and asks the man if she has indeed passed his test. This comes as a surprise to Catherine because she has no idea what is happening. Weber tells her that there is one more piece of item to be tested. He brings out a box and opens it. In it is an old book that looks like a travel diary. She assesses the book and begins to tell him her observations. Then she realizes the book tells an important historical story that appears to be real. In the book, there are navigational points, descriptions, and drawings that tell the account of the legendary Lover's Stone on the island of Cordyceil. Seeing that Maddie is an expert at what she does, Weber tells Catherine he is willing to hear about the needed donations. This makes Catherine happy. Weber's reason for testing the professionalism of Maddie is that later in the year, he and his wife will be celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. He needs Maddie to help him get the exact location of the Lover's Stone because he wants to take her to see it. Catherine happily tells him that Maddie will go anywhere with him. He proposes that if Maddie can fund the stone, he will fully endow the museum. That is such a huge promise that will go a long way in helping the museum. He also hopes that when they find the stein, their love will make the stone glow as the legend says. Catherine realizes that she has her work cut out for her. In the scene, Catherine and Trish talk about the legend of the island Cordyceil. The island used to be heavily guarded by natives because of the Lover's Stone. Trish shows her a video of the island and the interview of Fitzpatrick, an intentional hotelier, who is on the island renovating his family hotel, the Pierre House. As Fitz talks about his family hotel, Trish talks about how handsome and famous he is based on the stories she has read about him. Trish talks about the scenery and calls the famed Lover's Stone a myth. Trish is surprised Maddie doesn't know Fitz, especially since he is a famous entrepreneur and activist. Maddie is not interested in knowing him, but Trish says she needs to let romance in her life again. As Maddie is about to leave, Catherine catches up with her and thanks her for agreeing to go on the trip. Maddie says she will do her best, but Catherine lets her know she needs to do more than her best because of the benefit the museum stands to gain. Maddie tells her that the missing pages of the diary may be the important ones that will help her mission, and this is an issue for her. Then Catherine tells her the reason why she wants the mission to succeed at all costs is that the university has cut off funding for them and the museum closes except Maddie finds the stein and Weber supports them. Maddie is shocked to hear this and she realizes that a lot more hangs on the success of her finding the stone. So, she promises to fund it no matter what. Maddie begins her journey. She gets to the island and it is as beautiful as she has read. She proceeds to locate the hotel she will stay at. Meanwhile, Fitz cleans the floor of the hotel and talks with Elodia. She is injured, so he tells her not to bother with cleaning and that he is capable of doing that since she taught him. Finally, Maddie located the hotel and it happens to belong to Fitz. She uses her map to locate the entrance as she walks along the fence down the alley and someone throws water from above, and it drenched her. She screams and Fitz apologizes for throwing water on her. He talks with her from above and she can't see his face. He did not know anyone would be there because the locals never walk through that alley. She asks him to direct her to the Pierre House and Fitz tells her she is there. He directs her to the entrance. Fitz tells Elodia that they have a guest and she should check her in as he proceeds to hide. When Maddie walks in, Elodia tells her someone will be with her shortly. Elodia signals that he should come and attend to her and he realizes he has no choice. He walks out reluctantly and is about to apologize for throwing water on her when Maddie says she knows him from somewhere. Then she remembers that he is the guy Trish showed her on the laptop. The guy who encourages people to come to Cordyceil to find true love. He is relieved that she can't recognize him and tells her he prefers to think of himself as a cultural ambassador. He asks if she's here to celebrate love or find it. She says it's none. He checks her in and carries her luggage to her room. She is shocked he has no staff. Later on, she is dressed to go out as Fitz checks a couple in. He tells her not to go out without taking a local map. Maddie sees a picture with him and comments on the uniqueness of how the ancient and modern are tied together with the inscriptions. He is amazed at her knowledge and hangs the picture after he has left. Fitz and Elodia have a meeting with the island's festival committee, which includes Mayor Simpson and Chef Paul. The others are absent. They are discussing the upcoming island festival. They are having difficulties in funding the festival and finding vendors, and Chef Paul is not optimistic about the whole idea. Alodia reminds them that many people always look forward to the festival, especially because of the legend of the Lover's Stone. She and Fitz want the festival to be held, but the mayor tells him without vendors applying, it will not hold, and he is given 3 days or the festival will be cancelled. Meanwhile, Maddie is at a restaurant and is amazed to see different couples dancing and sharing their love while she sits alone. For a moment there, she feels lonely. Back at the Pierre house, Fitz is sad they just want to cancel the festival. Alodia smiles slyly and asks him the purpose of his coming there and why he has cancelled his plane tickets twice. She believes he also came to experience the festival and maybe find love. He initially says he wants to be there for the renovation. Then he tells her he is there to experience the festival that may even hold with the situation of things. Alodia tells him that she knows he took his mother's ring out of the safe, and he is shocked she knows. He wants to propose to his business manager, Trina, at the festival. Alodia is pleased to hear that. Fitz wants to propose to Trina when he goes back because he loves her and she got another job offer. He believes if he proposes to her, she will stay. Alodia gets up to take a nap, but Fitz stays. She then says that he is waiting for the pretty American girl, and he defends himself that he just doesn't want her to get lost on the island because it is confusing for tourists. Alodia doesn't seem to believe that is the reason, and she laughs, commending him for having a wonderful heart. It is until nighttime that Maddie gets back, and she is surprised to see the painting hung. She acknowledges its beauty. She tells him she got lost on her way even with the map. Fitz tells her that's why tourist moves with a guided group. But that won't work for Maddie because of her mission, and the next day she needs to be at Gina's Point. Fortunately, Pierre House is having a guided tour to the same place the next day, and he gives her a pamphlet to read. Fitz tells her to be ready for the tour the next morning. The next morning, Maddie meets with the other people going to the tour location. She realizes that the tour guide is late, and they told her that's the usual island timing and she will get used to it. The others are couples and she is the only single. Fitz drives in and he is late because the fire department used the truck the night before. She is surprised he is the tour guide as well. He fits in the couples in the back and Maddie sits at the front beside him. He tells them 3 rules, which are to always use the buddy system, apply sunscreen, and have fun. They arrive at the first stop of Gina's Point, which is the beach. But Maddie is surprised they are at a beach and there are stops on the way. Fitz tells her she should have read the pamphlet he gave her. She is on the clock and her plan must not be delayed. She asks for the location and Fitz tells her it's up the coast. Fitz tells her that they will still get to Gina's Point that afternoon. The rest proceed to have fun at the beach. Fitz goes ahead to swim, but Maddie's mind is fixed on getting to her location as soon as possible. She takes the map and decides to get to the location herself. Seeing that they are all distracted, she runs off through the woods. Maddie finds herself walking through some water in the woods. As he tries to know her location through the map, a snake jumps on her and she frighteningly runs off, screaming out loud. She sits on the roadside when Fitz's truck drives by. She is injured and her leg is bleeding. Fitz attends to the wound and they share an intimate look. One of the tourists comes to check on them and Maddie apologizes for causing the delay. They later went to Gina's Point and Maddie is surprised. Fitz tells her again that she should have read the pamphlet. She limps as he helps her inside the trucks and they head back to the hotel. As they walk back home, Fitz tells her that the stint she pulled earlier was a dangerous one. She apologizes and tells him that she is not there on vacation nor to fall in love. Her mission is to find the Lover's Stone. Fitz tells her that several people have been looking for it forever and it's a myth. She tells him otherwise and brings out the book Weber gives her. This makes him believe that it may be real and joins her in her mission. The next day they begin their search as Fitz drives her. She tells him she expects to find it and that it will glow upon finding it. They walk past an ancient monastery and discuss the history of the island and the myth of the stone. Maddie says that when true lovers touch the stone it glows, but Fitz believes true love is the biggest myth. He tells her that he is about to be engaged to his business manager, but it's not entirely based on love. He believes the concept of love is simply a chemical in the brain. Fitz asks Maddie about her own love story and she tells him her ex-stoker thesis, and this incident made her lose all trust. But she still believes in love because it can bring out the best in someone. She is about to fall off the ledge they are walking on, but Fitz catches her swiftly. He applauds her approach to love despite the heartbreak she has experienced. She jokingly tells him that is romantic. Back at the hotel, Fitz talks with Alodia about his parents putting in so much effort to build the hotel, and it's falling apart just like their marriage. She tells him that taste does change. He then tells her that he has canceled his flight and has made up his mind to stay and find the stone for the hotel because the island needs him. Alodia believes that he needs the island instead. He proceeds to the library to find an old document his mom used to look up from time to time. Meanwhile, Maddie continues to do her research on the Lover's Stone in her room. The next day, Fitz shows Maddie his family's old documents that relate to the Lover's Stone. They find some information about the island and realize that Fitz's family started the island's festival. His great-grandfather started the festival as a tribute to the woman he loved, and he also found the Lover's Stone. The stone lit up for them. Maddie is pleased to find that someone has found the stone in the past, so she takes all the documents with the approval of Fitz to make further research. Eventually, she finds a piece of important information and goes ahead to tell Fitz. Meanwhile, Fitz and other stakeholders of the island are meeting to continue their deliberation to know if the festival will hold. They are about to vote if the festival will be cancelled or not. Maddie joins them to tell them about her idea to save the festival. She proposes they hold a festival of love as they hold it in time past. The mayor and others are interested in the idea. They all agree to hold the festival and call it the Festival of Love, but Fitz is not pleased and he walks out. She follows him, but he is not pleased that he is getting their hopes up by telling them they are searching for the Lover's Stone. He did not want them to be disappointed. She tells him of her findings and shows him the possible location she found. They follow the route she found and arrive at the location the journal mentioned. Things are getting confusing for them as they have been searching for a while. Maddie is getting frustrated as they are not making any progress. Fitz tells her that they should eat first. As they sit, he mentions that as she told them they are going to find the stone, she has set him up to let them down. This is because they look up to him. Maddie also tells her what would happen if she did not find the stone. All her friends will lose their jobs because they will lose all funding. Fitz is shocked to hear this. He never imagined something of that magnitude as the reason she is searching for the stone. Fitz still maintains his silence that the rock glowing is a myth. When they get back to the hotel, Maddie finds a package on her doorstep. Fitz tells her that he dropped the gift for her because of her help regarding the island so far. The gift is the original copy of the ancient Festival of Love poster. She is excited about this and equates it to a gesture of love. When things get awkward because Fitz smiles not believing in love, she adds that the love is for the island. Maddie calls Trish and tells her about her findings so far. Ash also tells her about Futz, and when Trish hears the tone in which she uses in speaking about him, she tells her there seems to be chemistry between them. But Maddie tells her it's the opposite. Trish tries to make Maddie get close to Fitz because she feels Maddie cares about him, but Maddie reminds her that he has a fiancé. But Trish urges her not to let her previous heartbreak stop her from giving love another chance. The next morning, as Fitz is going out, Elodia informs him that Trina, his business manager, called and he says he has called her back. She also shows him a magazine in which he is on the front cover with Trina. He tells her he is going out to find a stone, but Elodia asks if he is sure it's only the stone that he is searching for. But he denies having other intentions. Maddie meets them in the lobby and Fitz suggests they take a break from researching the stone that day and relax. He suggests they go to his favorite spot. Fitz takes her to Elodia's store. They dance to street music and visit an abandoned ship. They have fun there and eat with Elodia. They get back at night and Maddie thanks him for taking her on such a wonderful trip. The next day, they take a trip to the waterfall and they enjoy each other's company. As they get back to the hotel, they meet Trina already waiting for Fitz. She is surprised to see Fitz with another lady and Fitz introduces Maddie to Trina as his business manager. Trina adds that she is also his girlfriend, though he keeps forgetting to add that. In his defense, Fitz says that's because she is so great at her job. Meanwhile, Maddie says he talks about her as his girlfriend, but Trina lets her know that he has never said a word about her because he doesn't pick up her calls and only texts her. This is surprising to Maddie. Fitz tells her about Maddie's mission to the island about the Lover's Stone, but Trina has no idea what that is. They explain what it is and their intention to find it. Trina notices some form of attraction between them as they speak. She is not pleased with this. Maddie leaves them. Trina tells her about his business and that he needs to come home. Fitz tells her that the island feels like home to him, but she reminds him that New York is where his business and board of directors are. He tells her about the importance of finding the stone. Seeing that he is not willing to leave the island, she decides to stay with him there. Trina sees the art picture he hung up and did not like it. She believes all his hotels should have a uniform design that reflects his brand, but he says he wants them to have designs that reflect their locality. He proceeds to show her around. Meanwhile, Maddie continues her research in her room and she comes upon an important clue to finding the Lover's Stone. Excitedly, she carries the book and proceeds out to show Fitz. Chef Paul meets Fitz on the street and excitedly tells him that all the festival booths are full. He apologizes for always going against him in the past. He thought he came to the island just to polish his reputation, but he has now realized that he is the true son of the island. When he gets back, Maddie shows him what she had found: the missing pages from the journal she brought to the island. He asks her if she prefers staying at the museum to doing this, but she says she is doing the research for her friends but will always prefer to travel and explore the world. He also says he has realized that the island is a home to him and she has helped him realize that. Maddie then shows him the clue to the possible location of the Lover's Stone, but they will have to snorkel. As they are in the boat preparing to leave, Trina meets them there and joins them in their exploration. On their way, the ladies talk about history. Trina tells her that Fitz thinks she does not understand the importance of family. Maddie asks how they met. Trina says she was his tutor and things kicked off from there. She asks if Maddie has anyone, but Fitz answers that she has vowed not to date again. Hearing this, Trina tells her that love will find her when she least expects it. When they get to the location, Fitz and Maddie dive in, leaving Trina in the boat. They search for a while before surfacing again. They did not find the stone, but they both talk enthusiastically about the experience. Trina is not interested in their experience down there and asks where they will search next. She did not think they would be able to find the stone in such a big water body. She suggests they stick to searching on the land as it presents the best chance of finding the stone. When they get back, Maddie is moody. She blames herself for getting the hopes of the people up by telling them they will find the stone. Fitz is not happy seeing her this way as she walks away. Trina suggests they go for a drink. While drinking, they both start to talk at the same time and Fitz goes first. He tells her about his intention of moving back to the island. He believes he is ready to move back to living on the island. He believes Trina will not want to stay on the island. Trina tells him he can do as he wishes, but she has accepted the position with the Swedish hotel, and she is moving on the 1st of the month. This comes as a shock to Fitz. She tells him that she has given him more than enough time to stay on the island. Maybe he will start believing in love again. Her plan works and he now believes in love, but not with her. He argues that it is wrong, but she tells him to be happy with his decision as she is. He compliments her on being a great person and promises to stay till everything is set up with his business before leaving. Meanwhile, Maddie and Elodia drink wine. Maddie tells Elodia she feels she has let everyone down by giving them false hope of dining the stone. But Elodia tells her not to be too hard on herself. The island has influenced Maddie's perception of love, and she asks Maddie if love is for fools. Fitz walks in on them but hides so they will not see him. Elodia tells Maddie love does not discriminate and everyone has access to it. Fear is the only enemy of love that she knows. When Maddie leaves, Elodia calls Fitz out and tells him to stop being bothered. The festival remains just one day and Maddie is not giving up. She tells Fitz that they still have time to find the stone and she is not giving up on the search. Fitz tells her that whatever happens, he is glad that true love brought her to the island. The true love of Brent Weber and his art collector wife. She is glad he believes in true love now and says Trina will be pleased. He tells her that Trina has left that morning and that they broke up. Elodia brings dinner for them. Maddie tells him about one final clue she found. As they speak about it, she realizes that the clue has been glaring all along. They rush out to go in search of the stone. When they get to the location, they prepare to get to work. It's a large expanse of land they want to search, and as they are about to start digging, Mayor Simpson, Chef Paul, and Elodia call out to them. They have come to help them in their search. They all get to work. Their search goes on till sundown. The backup leaves them to go back to town. Fitz and Maddie continue their search into the night at a particular spot. Fitz asks her if she will hurry back once they find the stone, and she tells him that whether they find it or not, she will head back. Fitz confesses to her that he has realized that she means a lot to him after they have met. They want to kiss when they notice a green glow. They have finally found the lover's stone. Happily, they hurry back to tell the others of the good news. Everyone is excited about the discovery. At that moment, Maddie sees Brent and Catherine. They have come without telling her and she happily tells them about the beauty of the stone. However, Brent did not come with his wife because he has other plans. He intends to take the lover's stone away from Cordyceil Island. Maddie is angry at this and tells Catherine to tell him that it is wrong to do that because the stein belongs on the island. Catherine leaves them. Brent tells her that he has already paid a generous amount of money to the island's council members and they have approved of the deal. Maddie walks away angrily to ask Catherine if she knows about this all along. Catherine denies knowing of his intentions. Meanwhile, Mayor Simpson tells Fitz that he sold the stone. Fitz tells him that he could have come to him if the money is the problem. Maddie thinks of a way to stop the deal. She then decides to go through Brent's wife. She will be able to convince him since he loves her. Catherine calls her and Maddie speaks with her. She tells her that based on her research she has ties with the island. The mayor tells Fitz that they have acted in a rush by signing the papers after Fitz tells him of the cultural significance of the stone to the island. The mayor tells him that Maddie's museum donor is the buyer. Fitz is shocked to hear this. He thinks she has been playing him all along and walks away angrily to find her. Meanwhile, Brent's wife has convinced him not to buy the stone and he has agreed to it. He is leaving the next morning. Fitz meets Maddie and accuses her of deceiving them all before walking away angrily. Maddie runs after him to explain the situation. The next day, Fitz helps Elodia in setting up and he is still angry about Maddie's supposed deception. Elodia tells him to talk with her before concluding. She tells him he is in love with her and he should give the feeling a chance and talk with her. At the festival that night, Catherine tells Maddie the deal has been finalized and they have gotten the finding and their jobs are secured unless Maddie wants to stay on the island. Maddie wants to stay but she needs to speak with Fitz and clarify the confusion. Then the festival begins with the mayor anchoring it. He acknowledges the efforts of Maddie. Meanwhile, Maddie searches around for Fitz. The mayor reveals the lover's stone and the people are amazed. Catherine addresses the audience telling them that a museum will be built for the stone. Fitz hears the announcement. Maddie is angry that Catherine intends to build a museum for monetary gain, and as she walks away angrily, Fitz takes the microphone and confesses his love for Maddie. She did not believe him because he did not believe in love. Then he walks up to her to further tell her that he is telling the truth and will give anything for her to stay on the island. Maddie tells him it will only take true love. Fitz kisses her and the lover's stone glows right there. The people are amazed and they clap. In the next scene, Maddie is given the honor of cutting the ribbon to the museum for the lover's stone. Fitz asks her what's next and she says she will write a book about all the love stories connected to the Lover's Stone. Fitz tells her to add theirs to the stories and then go inside to make the stone shine once more.